I don't really remember what this guy looks like. Like, I'm sitting in the back, I'm drunk, I lost my phone. Hey everyone, welcome to the Big Dane podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and this podcast is a random hodgepodge of topics that gets released on every Tuesday on, your preferred platform, of course. And I really enjoy sharing my personal stories and making those connections with you guys and just really being relatable, all in a fun and silly environment. Hey, friends. Let me ask you, have you ever lost your phone in your lifetime? How about losing it on a Bachelorette weekend? That seems about right. Stick around. You'll learn how I lost my phone on a Bachelorette, and you will not believe where I found it. All right. So, going back few years, more than a few years, back in April of 2017 in Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, Cleveland, Ohio. This was my sister-in-law's bachelorette party, so it was so much fun. And if some of you are asking, like, why is it in Ohio? But don't discriminate. But ultimately, we selected there because we also wanted to have her bridal shower because her family is in Ohio. So we kind of just did like a one-stop shop, added and did the bridal shower. We did the Bachelorette weekends, and it was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of her family and friends that like she doesn't see often. So we had a wonderful time. We stayed in Airbnb, naturally, right? And yeah, a lot of her best friends, they're back in Michigan. And, that's really where Abby, my sister-in-law, like that kind of really feels like home to her. Just knowing that, she did move 19 times. If you're wondering how I know that odd number off the top of my head, well, one, because she's family, but two, because I did do an episode with her in the fall about her moving. So you can check it out if you're interested to see where she has lived. But aside from that, in her journey of moving, Michigan was her home. That's what she remembers as home. So her friends still live there. So it was really nice that we got to see them and spend some quality time and just enjoy it. And her other best friend, Dan, he lives in Cleveland. So we got to spend time with him. And so it was like just such a fun group of friends and people. And, you can just let loose. That's what Bachelorette is about. Yeah. Let loose and lose your phone. Right. But I'll get into that in a couple minutes here. But one other friend that I'll mention now, because you'll hear her name in the episode a little bit later, that Trisha was with us. She was local here to PA, and that was Abby's first friend when she had moved here, and they became best friends. But unfortunately, she is no longer with us today. But that weekend with her was so memorable and so much fun. And she's a part of this story. So yeah, like we first had, her bridal shower, we did hibachi, and I know that was like Abby's like one of favorite things to do is hibachi every now and then. So we did. We did some hibachi, we opened gifts, And when I mean we open gifts, I mean Abby opened gifts that we gave to her, for her bridal shower. And so it was a lot of fun there. It's kind of just us gals, right? And then later we met up with everyone else and did a little brewery and had some beer, and the rest of the family members were there, and everything. So it's pretty good stuff. So now, one of the nights we did go out to dinner, and this was really cool, like farm to table restaurant. It was amazing, and I really liked how they had the round table for seating. I feel like you don't see that often, right? And you can actually see everyone that's sitting at the table. Yeah. Like, why don't more restaurants do this? Probably because of the architecture of the space is what I imagine. That, like, how many circles can you fit when you can fit, a rectangular table a little bit better, maybe, perhaps? Or do we think of the round table as more like fine dining? I don't know. So that place was really cool. And I remember Dan was eyeing up the server, and the server was eyeing up him. And it was so funny to kind of just experience that. And then they exchanged numbers at the end, and we were all cracking up. We're like, yeah, get it. And then later they ended up dating. Like, how funny is that? So good stuff there. And then, gotta have time to relax, right? And then it's the next day, so we go out to dinner, had a nice meal, and then afterwards we had plans to go out to a bar and dance. Yep, so that's what goes on. Gotta dance, gotta get our dance on, some drinks. I remember getting shots. Like, what? Well, yeah, it's a bachelorette. Got to throw down. So we're enjoying our time there dancing, and before you know it, it's like 1 a.m. Then it's like 2 a.m. We're like, all right, like, we gotta get an Uber. So I ordered the Uber. We all get in. It's a Ford Expedition, right? Like a mid-size SUV, right? And back then I had my iPhone 5S. Yes, a miniature phone, a baby phone, right? But it fit nicely in the back of my pocket. Well, drunkenly, and not realizing it, as we got dropped off back at the Airbnb, my phone fell out of my back pocket. Yeah. I mean, with it being after 2 a.m., it's like, what else could happen? I mean, nothing good, am I right, happens after midnight. Like, okay, we drank enough, like, how much more can you drink, right? And then you lose things. Yes, this is what happened. So now we're back at the Airbnb. We're all munching on snacks. We're getting out the dips that we had earlier, some salsa. We're just crushing it. And then we're like, all right, let's get to bed, because the next day was Sunday, and we were going to leave to get back. And we drove. So, didn't have to worry about getting a flight, but, we did have to leave and clean up and all that, that comes with an Airbnb. So as I'm getting ready for bed, this is when I realized I did not have my phone. And it's one of those moments where you know that you lost it. There's nowhere else immediately that you can look to, because all those places wouldn't have your phone. Like I knew it wasn't in my purse because I had it in my back pocket. Like, I knew that. And so to think that, I put it down, I didn't put it down. And I just knew that something happened. But yeah, I didn't know yet that it fell out in the car. So, and mind you, when I had this phone, on the back of it, I put a little adhesive on it to hold like credit cards and my license. So, yep, sure enough, had my license there, had my credit card. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, duh, let me find my phone, right? And for some reason, on the trip, I brought my iPad mini with me. Why? I don't know, because I don't think I used it. But I thought, I have the app on my iPad, let me find it, because I think there's like some weird, you might have to do like a workaround if you were to use someone else's phone, but like we couldn't figure it out. And so I thought, all right, let me just use my iPad. Use the iPad. Now, I only had Wi-Fi. I did not have 3G where I could just take my iPad anywhere and just go around. Like I had to be connected to the Wi-Fi. So I'm looking at it and it's still moving. And I'm like, oh my God, like don't go so far, because, you know, with Ubers, they are just traveling all over the place. You don't know when or like where their night is starting and ending. And it could be like over an hour away from where they dropped you off. I mean, it'd be like driving to Philly and back from where I live right now, right? And I just could not believe this was happening. So then I finished getting ready for bed, and I noticed that it stopped. I'm like, okay, I'm like, well, maybe we were his last drop off. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I can't do anything right now, so I'm going to go to bed. We'll figure it out in the morning. So, yeah, like I mentioned, you know, we have to leave this day, you know, we have to clean up and all that jazz. So I just thought, thank God I didn't have to get on a plane and be at the airport at this time, and because I would have been out of luck. I wouldn't have made it. So I grabbed my iPad and I'm like, shoot, it's moving again. But it didn't look like that far from where it had stopped from last night. So right off the bat, I knew we were his last stop. Oh my gosh, like how lucky is that? Because someone else could have picked up my phone and could have taken, you know, my credit card or who knows what, you know? So then I thought, all right, let me, you know, tell the rest of the girls what's going on. And then I see it stop again. And now it has been stopped for about like 15 minutes. I thought, okay, I think we got to get in the car and we got to go to where my phone is and we're going to get my phone. So I left my iPad with the girls. I was like, please, like, call us if this moves again. So Trisha came with me. So we're driving in the car. All right, we're breaking because I want to tell you about my new coffee membership tiers that I'm offering to you amazing listeners. Yes, essentially a place for all exclusive content that will not be on my Instagram and Facebook. These tiers are going to offer you from sneak peeks of the next episode, uncut audio clips that won't be on the regular episodes, so we've got some juicy content there, and merch discounts. And that's just the beginning of this all, right? So check it out for yourself. You can go and find these 3 tiers when you click on my link tree in my Instagram bio at the Big Dane Podcast. Boom, click on that, and I'm making super easy for you because it's the first one on there, the coffee cup icon. See which one fits you the best. We are navigating to this place where my phone is, or I'm like, I don't know where the hell we're going, but luckily it was only about 15 minutes away. And yeah, so, and we're almost there. And, you know, the girls, they didn't call us, after that point or anything because my phone didn't move. So it stayed still. I'm like, wow, this is great. So we roll up. We realize that the car is parked. Are you ready? Outside a church. Yeah, so this guy is gone to church. Oh my gosh. So Trish and I, we thought, oh my gosh, like we could not even believe what was happening because I just felt so lucky that like we navigated to where my phone is. The phone didn't move. We're not just aimlessly driving around, and we could see right away. I'm like, that's the car. That's the Ford Expedition. So we thought, all right, let's wait until the mass is over. And the next mass was at 10 o'clock. And it was right before 10. He was like 9:50. So we're like, okay, let's wait for it. So now everyone's coming out. And I don't really remember what this guy looks like. Like, I'm sitting in the back. I'm drunk. I lost my phone. And so now we see someone coming out and going to his car. And the car is literally right there. It's parked right outside the church, street parking. Okay. And we introduced ourselves. And, I told him that I was like, hey, I was in your car last night. You picked us up from the bar. And I'm 100% sure that my phone is in your car. You know how some people are like, well, I'm like 80% sure, 99. No, like I knew because the iPad told me, find my phone. So I'm telling him what happened and how we got here. We used the app to find my phone. Here you are. And here I'm saying like, thank God, thank God. We're at a church. You're not supposed to say God's name in vain, but naturally it just came out. And Trisha's, after we left, she's like, you did realize you said God. I was like, shoot, did I? Here I'm like talking to this religious man. Mind you, I think he could have been the priest. So it was so funny. I just felt like this was like a scene coming out of a movie. And yeah, and when I explained everything to him, I was like, can I just look in your car? And there it was on the far side, on the left side, in the back, and it fell in between the door and the step rail, the SUV. So of course I'm not going to see it because it fell there. So I must have, I don't know what the hell, how I was sitting, but fell out. It fell out. Yeah. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances of that happening? Also being the last people to drop off and somehow using my iPad to find my phone. And that's why I brought the iPad, so I could find my phone when I lose it. But honestly, that was the first time that I ever lost my phone. Because usually pretty responsible. I don't really do those kind of things. And on the flip side, I remember other friends, or at least the one friend in college, like she would always lose her phone. Always lose it. And I thought, how the hell do you lose your phone every other weekend? Right? But after this moment, I thought, and I told myself, do not put your phone in your back pocket. And the next year, I finally had upgraded to the iPhone XS. So yeah, I mean, I really couldn't put it in my back pocket from that point either. But It was an experience, my friends. I mean, and yeah, so we went back to the Airbnb. We finished cleaning up all that, and we got bagels, and then we hit the road, and we were all so hungover. I thought, how am I going to drive back? Because Abby was really hungover. I mean, I was hungover, but I think she was more hungover than I was. But all around, like, we're just feeling terrible. Like we need like an IV injection. And we drove back, and I think Trisha ended up driving some of the way as well to get back home. But was an epic weekend. Am I right? We got drunk, we took shots, and I lost my phone. Oh boy. Do you want to hear from you, or if you have any fun nights or epic nights, or a time where you lost your phone? What was that like? Did you panic? How did you lose it? Like, I have so many questions already. You didn't tell me anything. But luckily, with technology these days, we are able to, use an app to find our phone. So cheers to that. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. Peace out.
Okay, friends, be sure to listen on your preferred platform. Go to my Instagram or Facebook at the Big Dane Podcast and tap on the link tree within my account to find your favorite way to listen. If you truly enjoyed it, stay on the link tree and tap on leave a review. And you'll notice this link tree has other exciting areas to check out, like the coffee memberships that I spoke about with all exclusive content. A merch section is there because, yes, I have merch waiting for you. And of course, feel free to contact me with any feedback or other topics of interest, which you'll see is the last section of the Linktree platform. All right, see you next week.